All right, Guitar Friends, episode 31. Told you we'd be back. Told you.
HW with his worn out string.
Come on.
Plays the blues, oh how it sings, strumming chord.
Hallelujah.
Melody so sweet.
Is there a pog on the vocals?
Guitar friend we all like to meet.
The lyrics are the same.
Check this out.
Sue's with her quick
Wow.
and nimble hand.
Her.
Susie.
Free and full to country. She plays it all.
That's true.
Her guitar talk will make your heart fall.
Strangely accurate and inaccurate.
I know.
His electric twang.
John too.
Shredding licks, so it sounds so bland. From rock to metal, he takes the lead. The guitar friend we all want to hear.
Wow.
I wish this was a guitar solo, by the way.
Yeah.
You know?
The phrasing is...
Electric twang.
All right. It just repeats,
So
it just repeats what's called there.
The phrasing of some of those lines is only AI could have produced.
Yeah,
It
you know,
doesn't
they're...
quite
It
land.
doesn't land.
Yeah. They're not all hits, guys.
Yeah, right. That's a B-side for sure.
There's a reason. There's a reason we saved this one for third. You know,
Yeah, right.
and it
Maybe last. We don't know.
Yeah, maybe last. We don't know. What were you playing there before we started? Let's give this let's kick this up a notch, John. Let's abandon the country.
No
And
country
just go.
anymore?
Well, what did it say about you? It said, "Give us some of those shredding licks, oh so grand. From rock to metal, he takes the lead. The guitar friend we all want to heed.
Oh, he.
Heed? I don't
I
know.
thought it was meat.
Yeah.
I don't even know what heed means. What's,
Like, pay
it's
attention
like,
to you, or
what
like,
does that mean? What is it? Yeah.
like obey?
Yeah.
Like,
You
heed my
should,
words.
you should obey me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should obey my tone.
The riff.
There you go.
That sounds really good.
It's so crushing.
It's really good.
It's like,
No.
Whoever made that knows what they're doing.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe, maybe not.
We shall see in the future.
We'll
I guess.
find out. We can't talk about it. Not allowed.
I know. We don't want to have to sue ourselves.
We don't want to sue ourselves or anyone else. Listen, you don't know, like we said before, you don't know when the state of New York's going to come in and just find a crime where there isn't a crime.
I totally.
You don't know.
I know.
You don't know that.
It's so true.
Nobody knows.
I don't
Anyway,
know how to
Guitar
add
Friends.
to this
That
conversation.
was Guitar Friends episode 31. You like
31?
it? You guys, 31, 32.
Is it 31 or
It's
32?
32. This is 32.
Two.
32. My bad.
Wow.
My bad. You guys, did you both mean to pick up guitars with mini hums? I mean, those are
Hey.
Firebirds technically, but
Oh.
We got a little theme going.
Yeah.
What's the difference between those?
It's a good
I
question.
think those are
These.
hotter or something. They
Maybe
don't. They,
brighter?
obviously, they don't have pole pieces exposed.
Oh. I said it before. I hate the way this guitar looks, but I love the way it plays and I love the way it sounds.
Yeah, it's a great player.
It sounds
Excellent.
great.
It's a great sounder.
It really is.
Not a good looker.
Not a good
Not a
looker.
good looker. A great
I think it
sounder.
looks alright. It's a gold top.
Yeah.
Do you not like it as a gold top, or do you not like it
I don't like-
because it's the traditional?
I don't like the mini hums.
Yeah.
That's the traditional.
Like if it,
Well, I just mean gold is like a traditional color. Are you
no,
just
I
like,
like
no, I
gold
don't like.
tops. If I have a gold top, I'd rather have the P90s.
oh, not even the
So
full
it's like a
size hums.
56,
Yeah.
like the original.
Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
look. Or full size humbuckers. But
Anything but those.
I don't know. These sound so good though. You can't really. It's not like they sound
Mini.
No, they sound like something
Another
else.
jinx for the ages.
Get out of my head.
Yeah.
So it's funny. They sound like, I mean, different than PAFs, or they sound different than the humbuckers, right?
Yeah.
But it's
But it's
funny
not like
that
they're,
they're not
super low output or something like that. That's what you.
Yeah. They're not.
When I first saw mini humbuckers, I thought, oh, those must be like low output
Right.
humbuckers.
Think of like a Strat
Yeah,
bridge,
but they're
or
not that
something.
way.
Like they're babies. No, they're like cool. It's kind of weird to me that you can actually get like mini humbuckers from any year or any era way cheaper than the full size humbucker. Like it's kind of weird that they're so underappreciated. You know, and I guess because maybe just a lot of people don't have many humbucker guitars to toss them in. So it's not like you would just go buy a bunch of vintage pickups and throw them in your current guitar.
Right.
You'd want to already have, you know, there's not as many out there. And they've done like deluxe reissues, Gibson has, on and off. They did some in the 90s, and then now they're back again. They've been back for the last 4 or 5 years. But there's been a lot of times where they just haven't even made reissues of
Right.
of
I wonder
Les
how many
Paul
people
Deluxes.
had a mini hum guitar and routed it bigger for a full-size
Oh, a
humbucker.
lot. Yeah, and you'll see a lot of the old ones, like 70s guitars like that. You'll see the bridge is routed for a bigger pickup, and then the neck is usually left alone.
Oh, yeah.
You'll see that a lot, you know.
No one cares about
And,
the neck pickup.
Yeah, it's easy to do. Just go take a little wood out and get another ring and a pickup. And, you know, that was,
Right.
you know, Seymour Duncan was
But you
making
can't
stuff. And
Converting it back to a mini hum, more difficult.
very. With a painted gold top, you could at least put wood on, refinish the whole thing.
Right.
But when the guitar is pretty old, that becomes even worse, right?
Yeah.
Is it even worse though? It's one of those things like you hack up an old vintage guitar, and it's kind of like it's in the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. What's like the worst thing to do? Should you just plug the holes? Should you refinish the whole top?
Right.
You know, it's like I guess you just refinish the whole thing. That's what I would do.
Are we talking about guitar?
We are. Let's talk about something else.
It's like a trend.
You guys. Someone sent me this article this morning, and it was
Quick, let's change the
Hurry.
subject.
Right, change it.
What are we doing?
I could not believe what I was reading. The city of Oakland, the neighboring city to kind of where I grew up, they have replaced some stoplights with stop signs. So, like, imagine there's a big stoplight with a big arm going over the street. They've taken down the light and just put a big stop sign up
Up high.
Just so, and
wow.
it says stop sign all ways, and they've just put
Right. So
stop
they
signs all
converted
around.
to a four-way stop.
They converted to
Why?
a four-way
What's
stop.
the reasoning?
Well, you'd think, maybe some traffic study showed that they don't need this light, or you know, it would be more efficient as a stop sign. Oh no! No. The city no longer wants to bear the cost of
I knew it.
of the vandals who are opening the pole and pulling out the copper that's in the control panel and in the wire going up. They're stealing it, and the city keeps having to come
To
repair
replace it, yeah.
So the city, this is what they said, in an effort to deter theft, we're going to put up a stop sign.
See, this is why we can't have nice things.
No, it's why we can't have nice. And I
We
thought,
tried.
We try.
in an effort to
Wasn't
deter.
it the same thing with Tesla superchargers too? People are cutting off the cables.
Yeah, they were stealing the cables. But listen, John, people don't. Tesla doesn't then say, well, then we won't install
No, I know that.
superchargers.
Yeah, totally.
In an effort to deter crime, they're like, well, we just won't have it. It's like if someone stole your car and you're like, well, I won't buy a car again because I don't want anyone to steal it again.
Right.
I want to stop this from happening ever.
It's the nice car with a car alarm, or just a crap car that no one wants to steal. What's your option?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? How do you deter people? Do you get an alarm, or do you just get something that no one wants anyway?
Undesirable.
Undesirable
Car.
That's what they're going with. They're going with undesirable.
Have you ever lost your phone?
No.
Anyone ever? You never lost a phone?
We did.
Yeah. Right? You lost a
New
phone.
York.
John, you've never dropped a phone, lost it somewhere, couldn't find it.
No, the thing costs like $1,000.
Okay.
Don't remind me.
Okay, you guys went to Hattie B's, huh?
Yeah, we did.
Was it good?
It was so good.
Yeah, I didn't eat. I'm pretty hungry.
We invited you, by the way.
I know. I had to work.
It was delicious.
You ever lose a phone? People out there, you've lost a phone.
I'm sure they
the
have.
people in the Tone Junkie verse, they've lost a phone. A logical person never thinks, I'll stop this from happening in the future by never replacing my phone.
Right.
It's a crazy kind of thing.
It's a decision only a government official could make.
It's really just it's like people get so smart they get stupid again. Like there's like this full circle nature of like, you know what I mean? You get so advanced,
Right.
you know, and you're so smart, and we're planning cities and we're planning states, we're running everything, and we got this whole electrical grid, and it's like just
Right.
can't have and then you do these dumb things, maybe like routing. You know,
I was just going to say, I think this happens with tone too.
there is an amount
You get so advanced that all of a sudden you wrap back around until your tone's not good anymore.
right.
And then you plug into a tube amp and you're like,
Well,
actually
I would
sounds
say the
real
other way. There could be something about, I'll tell you where I hear it, actually. There's a lot of talk of latency right now on the internet, especially around this Tonex Mini, Tonex 1. And the issue is that the Tonex 1 actually has less latency than the big pedal. So if you buy a Tonex 1 and just pair it with the other pedal, you can't run them together, even if you run the exact same.
You couldn't run a stereo rig because of the latency? Mm-hmm. Really?
You'll get like a filter sound, like a comb
You'd
filter.
have like
you either got to get two big boxes,
like phasing issues.
Yeah, either two big boxes or two little ones. Oof. That's assuming everything that you're playing is in phase with each other, right? But just say that everything's in phase, right? Say you take two of the same captures,
right?
You either got to go two minis or two big ones. So a lot of people are talking about this, and I'm even seeing people go, "Well, Quad Cortex has the least latency of any blah blah blah." But we're talking about these little tiny amounts of latency that are so small. And then I saw them put they put 6 milliseconds, or it was I forget what they said, half a millisecond or something. Is that gonna can you even play tight with the band with that amount of latency? And it's just like, guys, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And then I am seeing people,
I am on tempo within 1/1000th of a of a second.
I don't think people know what
that's tight. That's how good I am.
I don't think people know what's going on. Oh. So if you add less than 10 milliseconds, I'll just tell people this. There's something called the Haas effect. You can go Google it. If you add less than 10 milliseconds and you show it to people, they'll say the signal got louder or better sounding. They won't say there's delay. They won't say there's reverberation. They won't let on that there's anything to do with time because it's so tight. If you double a signal and do that to it, you will experience something. You can hear something, but it's too short that you go, well, I can hear it repeat. I can hear the attack repeat. And that probably has a lot to do with maybe what you're listening to. Possibly if something was ultra dry and staccato, you would pick it out first. But instruments have sustain and attack. And, there's this, the music is played with strings.
I will say this,
and
on the Neural DSP plugins, they have a stereo delay.
Sure.
Like a
doubler or a delay?
It's a doubler.
Yeah.
So you can add as little as 1 millisecond between this left and right channels.
Yeah.
And as many as 25.
Sure.
If you go beyond 5, it starts to sound very obvious.
Yeah.
But I don't know that you would pick it out that it's delayed.
That's what it is.
It sounds like it's being widened somehow. But it's if you didn't know.
Yeah, you're probably starting to get some cancellation. Yeah. But guess what?
If you get cancellation,
you get cancellation when you double track a guitar.
Right. If you go all the way up to 20 milliseconds, it's hard to play.
Yeah. Right. Sure.
You know what I mean? It's this is not usable.
Yeah.
But
look, a Boss DD2 at 30 milliseconds, it's perfect slapback sound.
Right.
It's just you can go a little longer, if you want, but you hear it sounds like verb slapback. It's in that neighborhood.
Right.
That's 30.
Right.
You go down to 0, it's nothing. So there's not a lot. So I'm saying 0.6, 0.8. And then, some people are going, well, we did the video about the Helix, and the Tonex. And people said, well, you're adding latency together because you got the latency of the Helix, you got the latency of the Tonex. Someone said, couldn't you feel the latency? And Sue just said, couldn't feel it. Well, my question then is, has anyone checked the latency on every digital delay that doesn't have dry through right? Because there's latency in all those. It has to process your sound and then put it out. Right? So unless it's I'm a true bypass pedal or whatever, we're always getting some latency. I also don't know this. This is
how many timelines would you have to string together?
Yeah. What is the latency of the Mobius, the timeline, and the Verb? Do those have dry through though? They do, right? I think they actually do. Which is one of the features about them. But you know what I'm saying? Throw an HX. No one ever puts an HX stomp and another digital pedal and 3 on the board and goes, I'm worried about the latency of adding one more digital, modulation pedal.
They weren't. Now they are.
Now they are.
Even more anxiety.
Yeah. I don't know. Look, you're not going to notice this stuff. Just play. This is where I'm just play the guitar, or look, I'm a person who doesn't always play the guitar. I focus on little things, and like I get lost in the gear page minutia, but at least make it fun minutia. You know what I mean? I mean, at some level, it's just like we're like posting the specs of our gaming PC. You know, just play the game. Play the game. Right? It's like,
I don't know. I think people are. I don't know. I think the culture on the internet is so focused on specs. You know,
what's the latency of a tube amp? It's not zero. Electricity, matter exists in one moment, in one spot. The electricity has to travel. So I guess we call latency anything later than the analog version, right? It's like whatever latency is added by the digital thinking or processing.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not zero.
No.
If I hit the
it's
chord,
pretty close though.
Well, of course, it's indistinguishable. But also I think 1 millisecond's indistinguishable.
You're probably right. Certainly,
I can't distinguish it on the Tonex.
Yes.
Have any of you guys played the Tonex and been like, "There's definite latency here"?
No, the only time
only
time I feel latency is when I'm playing the Tonex software. Like
and that might be on the playback of your unit, because I get latency whenever I go to playback. You know, I get it through my the computer. It's not on the in; it's on when it's spitting it back out to me. Right. You know, and I have to either.
But that's like it's very subtle, but it's difficult. You notice it.
Yeah, sure.
It's like a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's many YouTube videos about how fast electricity travels. You could look them up. It's some pretty cool experiments that people have done.
Yeah.
With like thousands and thousands of feet of wire.
Maybe that's what they're stealing the copper from in Oakland for. Maybe they're running this experiment. They're seeing how long, what's the latency of the stoplight. Can we put this in a Tonex? Can we make this work?
But Oakland said no.
No,
Oakland
said
was
no.
like, no,
they were like,
you can't do that.
Stop signs only. Stop signs only.
Stop signs only.
It's just weird to me that stuff like that happens, and it somehow just becomes normal. You know, like we just won't. You know, we just won't put that light back up, and it's kind of like, well, maybe I just won't pay my taxes. Right? It's like you can't do that.
I don't know. Do I get a discount on my taxes then because you don't?
Yeah,
you
because there's no light here.
They're passing that money on to you.
Right, exactly.
It's just funny
Somehow
to me.
I think not.
It's just funny to me that some places will do anything but like have police that enforce the law. Right?
Sure.
It's like, what?
100%.
How can we address this?
Right.
But not make sure people don't do this crime or stop them.
Right.
I mean, it can't be a very quick job. I don't think they're very skilled.
Oh, to actually pull the copper out
I
of a
wouldn't know how.
stoplight?
Right. This stuff's bolted
It's
in.
got to
like,
be a 30 or 40 minute operation.
It has to be. It has to
Plenty
be.
of time for police officers to show up.
Yeah, it's not like it's.
I don't know though.
It's not like that head, thing that Indiana Jones was stealing, and it's just on the podium waiting to be grabbed.
Right.
It's just sort of sitting there. The whole room is open. There's a walkway.
I'll tell you what though, a giant rolling boulder would be a good deterrent for people.
Yes.
Right. But after they've stolen the copper, though.
After they
now
stole
they're
the
gonna
copper,
run away.
and then you have to run away from a boulder.
I wish they would
People
just
knew
start
that.
like they should rig it all up to electrocute you. How about you just take off all the rubber around the thing so that this will electrocute you. When you try to steal it, this will electrocute you. And
That's
then
one way to do it.
I feel the same way about the people who
That would get. I was going to say something very rude. Never mind.
I feel the same way. I was just out.
Nice filter.
Yeah, I'm taking the filter off for a minute. I feel the same way about these people on the bridges and stuff. I went to California recently. I show up, they're shutting the bridges down. I'm trying to get to a funeral. I'm like, God, I hope they don't shut the freeway down over here. Why would they shut down this random freeway? I don't know. Why would they shut down a bridge? What does that have to do with anything that's being protested? Nothing. And these people show up and they put like cement over their hands and they like cement themselves to the ground. And then all these like officials come out and they're like using these chemicals and they're chiseling their hand out and there's medics. I think that if you cement yourself to the street, the punishment should be you have to stay there now. They should set up the perimeter of police around you to stop anyone from helping you.
And
you should have to stay there until you apologize to everyone and you agree to some punishment.
Or they say, "Yeah, we'll get you out," and then they pull out a chainsaw. This is the tool we're going to get.
Right.
This is the good
You're right,
tool.
John. It only takes 1 or 2 people with no hands going, "It was a bad idea," just with their nubs. It was a bad idea. It was a bad idea. It was a bad idea. It was not a good. I don't recommend it.
Don't.
Yeah.
0 out of 10. Would not recommend.
Let's just go back to posting on Instagram,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Give me a bumper
Yeah.
sticker.
What color square should I post?
Give me a bumper sticker.
That's an easier thing.
Saw a lady with 1 million bumper stickers yesterday, and I thought, I mean, she had a bumper sticker for every cause you would bet she had a bumper sticker for. You're probably thinking at this point, HW, how would I know which causes? How would I know which bucket of causes, right?
Yeah.
It's either this bucket or this bucket, right? Well, let me tell you.
One bucket doesn't make bumper stickers.
Yeah, no. She was driving
they
a
do.
Subaru Outback. Yeah. So now that you know which
Were you
bucket.
in Colorado?
No, I was here. But now that you know which bucket all of her things were representing, she had all these things. And I just thought to myself, could you, like, let's say we did nothing else. There was no other activism but bumper stickers.
I like this world.
Could you put bumper and everyone was like, be an activist, change the world, and it was all bumper stickers. Everyone agreed that bumper stickers were the only way to communicate ideas and change people's minds. Just bumper stickers.
This would be so much better than the world we live in.
And so you would just put messages on your car, and then that would maybe sway opinion. Do you think that we could measure then the effect of bumper stickers on public opinion? If that was the only thing, then we wouldn't have any other. We would be able. Do you think we would find pretty strict correlation between people putting bumper stickers on their car and mass adoption of the idea, like a spreading of the idea? Or do you think it would be
easier than what it is now?
Well, I guess my question is it effective at all? Would we see a correlation? Would we go, you know what? It
in
turns
a world
out
where the only activism is bumper stickers, I think you would see a correlation.
You might.
In the world we live in now, not a chance.
Right.
Like if we changed to that, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't go back.
It's like John Mayer said, no one ever changed their mind from words they read on a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in Waiting on the World to Change.
Exactly.
I might have messed the second part of the lyric.
No, you got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the gist, anyway.
Yeah, the gist is there.
Hey, man, I would trade Facebook for bumper stickers today.
Facebook's kind of mid, but like I'm low-key into it. It's my favorite. And I've just accepted that.
Is it like everyone on Facebook is older now?
Well, I'm just a millennial, and I think Facebook is for us.
Yeah.
I think Facebook is for
Maybe
the
that's
millennials.
what it is.
You know what I mean?
Twitter or X or whatever. Is that where all the young people are? No, they're all on TikTok. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Young people are on TikTok, like Alpha and Z are on TikTok for sure. I think millennials. I think Facebook is for us because it's a place where we can have video and post things like we can post what we're doing and what we ate. You know what I mean? And like but then we can also like do this like little baiting thing where it's like, guys, I just can't live in a world where people eat rabbits. You know, or it's just like, ugh, worst day ever. And then it's like waiting for people to ask you about it. Like those are all very millennial behaviors. And I think like Facebook, like Instagram gives you some of the like, look what I did today. Like, here's a snapshot of my life.
Yeah.
Admire me. But it doesn't give you the like
open-ended
over Sunday, over it, you know, or like I'm over Iowa.
Or people just changing their relationship status to like it's complicated and like that's it.
Yeah, that's it. And they're just waiting for stuff. You know? Just waiting for stuff. Right. But that's what Facebook's really good for, you know? Just like putting cryptic stuff.
You like to light a match and then throw it in the pile, don't you?
Me or everybody?
No, you.
You know, I've done experiments on Facebook, and it's interesting to watch people. I one time put just on Facebook, just I want to see what people react. And I said, and I put in quotes, when you're the smartest guy in the room, end quotes. Almost all of the reactions were taking it as I'm calling myself the smartest guy in the room.
Oh,
Even
see,
though
I
I
would-
put it in quotes.
I
You didn't
would've
know if I was quoting something.
I would have took it the other way.
That what? Oh,
That you were in a situation where someone else was the smartest guy in the room, and you were going, "Oh, when you're the smartest guy in the other."
and
in the
that is
But not the smartest guy. Quotes.
yeah, and that is what I think. That's what's amazing about Facebook. You can do stuff like that, and then you can watch people react, and it's
Right.
like this Rorschach. Is that the name? Rorschach.
Rorschach.
Rorschach. The guy from
We got it.
The guy from Mystery Men.
Nope. Not Mystery Men. Dang it.
Watchmen.
The Watchmen. That's it. I was like, big naked blue guy.
Mystery Men has the spleen and Ben Stiller.
What?
Remember he throws the forks? Do you remember that? Ben Stiller made an amazing movie way before its time.
Wait,
It's
Mystery Men.
Mystery Men. It's a comedy superhero movie.
Yes.
He's Mr. Furious. And his
Yes.
power is he gets very, very angry. There's a guy, I can't remember his name. He throws forks.
I remember that.
I think he's the Maharaja. I can't remember. Then there's a guy named the Spleen. He farts. He saves the day. There's another dude called the Bowler, and thank God he's there. He's the only person who's like deadly. He throws bowling balls at people. It's not a superpower, but he's strong. And then there's a guy, I think his name's Mr. Invisible, but the problem is he can only go invisible if no one's looking at him.
We gotta watch this movie.
It's so good.
We
So
gotta
he's
have
a
a movie
5-year-old
night.
child? Is that what's
It's
happening?
pretty much.
Yeah.
This was like when Comedy Central was the top of the comedy
Yeah.
world. I think they might have had something to do with this movie because it's a great movie.
Wow.
I think it's pre-Zoolander.
Really? I
It
was
might
just
be
gonna
after.
say.
It might be after. Not as loved as Zoolander, but I think it's a great
No,
one.
Zoolander
Wow.
is.
It's
Put
a
it on
great
the
one.
list.
I know. We should watch that. That might be one movie Jared's interested in watching.
We should just throw it out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so sad for Oakland when there's stop signs.
yeah, well, they that's all they got now. Stop sign. I mean, I guess they're not doing it everywhere, the lights. But I guess what this tells people is this: if you live in a place like that and you don't want a street light near you or in front of your house or something, just continue to vandalize it until the city says, "Never mind, it's not worth it. Civilization's not worth it. You can just have this sign." What'll happen if they take the signs down? We just make it like a.
I mean, there's whole countries that barely have signs or stoplights.
I know,
Traffic
but
circle, maybe.
yeah, I know,
Traffic circle would
but they
work.
didn't have lights, and then and then they lost them. You know,
Right.
they were born with no lights.
That's what I mean. It's really, really hard to go back. You know?
We're doing it.
Are we? I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
Is anyone? I wonder if you'll be able to hear the cicadas through the recording on this.
It's like a calming wave of
It's
just like
insane.
It's
this
like a
year.
sound machine.
It really is.
Do you notice how the pitch goes up and down like that?
Yeah.
I wonder
the
what
volume.
What does that? It's like they all follow each other.
I think it's
enough
like
of them start doing it, and then they
It's like a hive mind,
yeah,
like
the
a wave.
like the Borg.
like a wave.
Yeah.
Like you said. That's what you said.
All right, let's get on with the world going to something. All right, here's a little bit of a controversial topic I want to talk about. I'm going to give you my take, but I'm going to present it. This is a little sensitive.
Oh no.
Well, it's kind of big news in the preset world. I haven't really heard anybody talk about it. Not that there's many.
Preset world.
In the
What does
preset
that mean?
world. In the preset world,
Yeah.
it means the collection of
This is all digital.
8 to 12 like Facebook groups that I frequent, where people who make presets also post their stuff.
Oh, people making presets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the preset world. You know,
The preset contributors.
all the people who want to be tone
The
jack.
preset creators.
You know, all the people who
Content
copy me.
Yeah. You were the first.
Listen, I'm just gonna go and say this for a minute.
This is controversial.
I'm like the fawns. Okay,
You knew it was going to be something.
I'm like the fawns. It's not that each individual thing I'm doing is so unique, or I came up with it. Right? He's not the first guy to brush his hair back, have a slogan, and wear a leather jacket.
Sure.
But he informed what cool was for me until like even today. It doesn't matter what era you go to. If you see a guy in a leather jacket, slick back hair, hey, you know what I mean?
I do.
He just dripped cool. You know?
You are the Fonz.
Henry Winkler and that thing. And so I'm just saying this. You can look around.
H.W. Henry Winkler.
Uh-oh.
This whole time?
This whole time?
That's what it was?
Can't believe you just decoded it.
Oh my gosh.
Why'd you tell them that?
Wow.
It was the most inside reference that's ever been. You just let it out of the bag.
We were saying There Will Be Blood for years. It wasn't There Will Be Blood at
We
all.
might have to bleep that out.
I have to bleep that out.
I might bleep that out on the edit. We can't let them hear.
They can't know how it really came from.
Yeah, it's from There Will Be Blood.
The Fonz.
The Fonz. And so I'm not saying it's just, but you inform an entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that people copy you, although sometimes you open your email and you go, oh my word, this is my exact promotion. This is the exact thing. And hey, God bless everyone. I've actually told several people, try this, and it's the exact thing I'm doing.
Right.
Do this, and it's the exact thing I'm doing. And but it's okay. We all borrow from each other, and it's a sincere form of flattery.
Yeah. Hey, it's like my guitar teacher used to say.
Yeah.
If you're going to copy somebody, copy somebody good.
Yeah.
You know? Don't copy someone no one likes.
What's the point?
Or someone not successful.
It's just sometimes I'll tell you, there's a little bit like I see people talking about stuff or the narrative goes a certain way, and I just go, well, that's not how any of that went.
Right.
That's not how that goes.
All right, so what's the big news in the preset world?
All right, the big news in the preset world. Big news, controversial news in the preset world. You familiar with, we met him a couple years ago at Nashville, E. Edwards. Elevation guy, very talented guitar player. I consider E a friend. I haven't talked to him in a little while.
I don't recall.
You guys, but E plays for Elevation. He's a music director there. I think that might be his title. Anyway, phenomenal guitar player.
Okay.
Played a Red Elliott for a long time.
Ooh, Elliott guitars are awesome.
For some reason, I think Bradford owns that guitar now. But anyway, he played it. It was made for the Taylor Swift Red tour. Anyway.
Oh, I do remember talking to this guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Incredible player. Incredible player. E has kind of gone quad Cortex. And he started selling his preset. And it got a lot of commotion because E sort of recreated his whole rig that he's playing on stuff. Now, listen, there's a guy named David who's been on a bunch of these. I think his last name's Liotta. I might be saying it wrong. He's a Nashville guy now. I just saw him playing on Broadway a couple of weeks ago. Moved here. Excellent guitar player. Been on a bunch of the stuff. I know he's used some Tone Junkie profiles on some Elevation recordings. E a long time was like, they're using some Kempers. This guy's using this. Everyone's, kind of going digital at this, time, and they're finding themselves on this unit. E's landed on the quad Cortex, right? And he's kind of rebuilt his rig in the digital world, captured some pedals of his, captured some amps, and sort of went, this is what I'm using. I don't know if he's used this QC on this or that or what, but he's recreated the rig he's using, right? And he's playing all the time. And they're always doing live stuff. And you can follow E on Instagram. You'll see what he's doing. He puts this up $100.
So it's a quad Cortex only.
It's one preset for $100. Now, I gotta say this. I'm glad we started a minute ago with Everybody Copies Tone Junkie. It garnered so much buzz. It was the best marketing he could have done. Because a lot of people have put stuff out, and it's like, how do you get? There were posts on every group I saw, not about the launch of this thing, but guys, did you see this? It's $100.
Right, the price.
Now I'll give you my take in a minute because I got a take on this, but it carried the word through this sort of preset world that he had made some stuff. It was only on the quad Cortex, not on everything else. And it was what he was using. And, people shared a lot of opinions. Thoughts, because a lot of people were like sticker shock at the price. I'll give you my take in a second.
I mean, look, this is like Apple's strategy, right? like, you know, you can go buy a stick of like RAM for like pennies on the dollar. Apple charges like $400 to upgrade your RAM.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Right.
It's the same thing.
Right.
It's the same thing you could get anywhere else.
Because where's the value in Apple? In the RAM? In that extra, in the incremental amount of RAM?
No, it's in the software, right? And it's in the whole, you know.
It's the value of the whole
it's
package
the whole
together.
package together.
And you're getting your...
And so they're totally fine charging 10x what everyone else charges.
Yeah.
And they say, if you don't want it, don't buy it.
Yeah, right. Right.
So as like a product strategy, I totally understand it. And I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I think that there's probably a lot of people that bought it and are super happy with it.
Yeah. There are some people. People have posted about it and said it feels premium.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great. Could you spend far less and get basically the same quality at a number of different places? Probably.
Sure. It's not like he built the amps.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what it's made of,
But also-
like you could probably get a similar, you know what I mean? Like,
There's a weird thing that happens with like anything that's fashionable is that the actual value of the thing is irrelevant.
yes.
It's all about like who made it, you know.
Yeah. Look at the Stanley Cup, right?
Yeah, there's a million other Stanley Cup like variants that aren't Stanley that cost $10.
Yeah.
But those are the popular ones.
For whatever reason.
Those are the ones. And
by the way, I'm starting a fashion trend. You see the straw?
I really
Not the
like
clear
that.
straw.
I
This
like
is the
that.
new fashion trend that I'm starting.
I like that.
Many
That way when
women stopping me in public. You guys want to know a hack? I'm a happily married man. But if you want women to stop you in public, start carrying around a Stanley and mismatch your straw, because all of a sudden women will see that and go, whoa, I'm behind on a trend. What is that? Where are you getting that?
How do I get back on?
Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, I think so. Like, would I buy it? Probably not. But is there a market for it? I'm sure. Is he wrong or bad for doing that? Not at all.
Yeah, not at all. Suze, what's your take?
Very similar to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know this person, and I don't have any desire to play his presets for some other reason. You know, it's like, oh, I have to have that sound versus all these other sounds.
Yeah.
You know, so that's part of it. But also for someone to introduce himself to the market like that, I would think they would go lower, not higher than everyone else. To say, hey, you don't know me, check these out for next to nothing, and then it's like, oh, I like these, and then now he can kind of place them a little bit higher next time. But coming out, I mean that.
Well, he's well known. I mean, he is like kind of the guy at Elevation. It seems.
Well, not
like
to me.
now.
I mean, you asked my opinion, so like I don't. Yeah. It's not like Tom York came out with his presets. It's like, man, I'd love to have Tom York sound.
Okay,
like,
so yeah. So this is interesting because I view it differently. I view it like this: if Slash tomorrow came out with his presets for the Quad Cortex, no one would scoff at it being $100. And the people who are buying these are playing the music that E records, that E plays live on, that E writes the parts for.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you can watch him do the stuff on Instagram. He's getting the tone he's getting that he's putting on these tracks, on these live recordings, on whatever. No one would scoff at Slash doing that. But I would argue more people are copying his tone than are copying Slash's this weekend.
Right.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
I mean, that's hard because probably every cover band's going to play like Sweet Child of Mine. But you know what I'm saying?
But
Right?
also, Slash is a legend.
Yes, and it's not, and they're not playing a full Guns N' Roses set.
Right.
That's a little different, right? Like, I think that's true of a lot of worship guys. I think so. To me, I go, if you just in this genre, to me, I'm like, he's the Slash. Hislop's the Slash. He's the Lukather. He's the what? These are the guys you're copying their tone. So if one of them comes out and goes, don't even bother copying the tone, here's the tone I use.
Right.
Then it's kind of like, okay, $100 doesn't seem crazy at all.
Okay, but now I'm going to argue the exact opposite.
Wait, let me say one more thing before I say
Okay.
that. And I will say this. Practically, he has to fill all these
Himself.
on the Quad Cortex manually, which is also, I think, another thing that has been brought up. It's like, hey, I got to do all these manually.
It's not worth my time.
It's got to be worth it.
Right.
Also, I would say this. He knows it's a smaller market. He's not Slash.
Right.
There's not going to be 10,000. So for him to do this effort, there may only be, several hundred people that will bother buying it.
Right.
Not saying anything about that. Just that I don't think he's willing to go on the campaign to make. You know what I mean?
It's not like he's going to go buy a Maserati with us money.
No, and I don't think he's going to make this his full-time job to go start making videos promoting this stuff. You're right. It's just to me, it's like a celebrity person in this thing.
Yeah.
Right. And some people go, celebrities or you got a church, you know. But well, no. I mean, people are going after his sound. He's made the sound. He puts it out.
Yeah.
To me, it's like if it was Slash or anybody else, no one would bat an eye at it. To me, it's the same thing.
Okay, but let me argue the opposite point of what I argued earlier. Mm-hmm. He's actually insane for charging this much. Because you can go buy Tom Morello's pack. These are all Neural DSP plugins. You can buy Tom Morello's thing. You can buy Rabia's thing. You can buy John Petrucci's thing. Mm-hmm. You can buy Mateus Asato's thing. Those are all $60.
Yeah, but you can't buy the sound of Elevation on the QC website.
What I'm saying is that there are well-known people, more well-known across the guitar verse than he is, who don't charge that much for arguably a lot more software.
A ton more. Yeah,
a ton more.
One preset.
Yeah.
One preset versus 3 amps, 3 cabs, a bunch of effects, like an entire plugin suite, right? So all I'm saying is that we do have examples of guitar legends charging a lot less for a lot more, and people are happy with that.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah,
I mean,
it's
granted,
a little
they're not on the Quad Cortex.
It's a little different because they're making a product to sell. It might not actually be what they use, or like the point of them involving themselves in it is to sell the product.
Yeah, but it is what they use.
Well, it's
profiles of their rigs.
Yeah, but Vi always uses what he used until the contract ran out and someone else gave him a check, and then magically Vi had another amp from another.
No, totally.
Like another amp got made for him, right? And then he always used the Vi amp.
My point: John Petrucci obviously uses his signature Mesa Boogie live, but the sounds in the plugin are of that amp.
Yes.
So he kind of does.
Yeah, and I think you said that no one would bat an eye if Slash came out with one preset. I think they would. I think no one would bat an eye if he came out with his entire catalog. Like if I'm a big Jimmy Eat World fan, they use Fractal Live. If they came out with one song and charged $100 for it, I would laugh at that.
Yeah, no, but not one song.
But if they came out, hold on, let me finish. So if they came out with their entire set list,
right,
and it had 17 songs, all what they used live, and that was $100.
But that is it because it's the rig he played. Like Jimmy Eat World probably goes out there and plays Fractal, and I don't know how they organize it, but I mean, if they gave you, here's what we play.
If they had like the Bleed American pack, it was like, here's all the sounds from Bleed American.
But imagine it's
what
a
they
rig.
use live, what they travel live with. It's all about like what I'm getting versus what I'm spending. If I'm spending $100 to get one preset with a couple captures in it, and there's like a couple presets, and that's it.
What
if he uses all that on every song, I'm still like the dollar to preset ratio is way too low. You know?
That's a weird way to look at it.
That's why I would laugh.
That's a weird way to look at it because, or I think that's an interesting way to look at it because that's like, what if they are a person that has a relatively simple rig that doesn't like they can't turn it into a million presets because it is straightforward,
right?
Yeah, like it is an analog rig that they were playing.
I
mean, when you have an analog rig, like if we step out of the digital world for a second and we say I'm going to build a rig with 12 pedals. It's not that hard to replicate all of that in one rig in a Quad Cortex.
No.
Your delay has a couple different settings. Like, unless you're full MIDI, which a lot of people aren't, if you're on a Big Sky, you might be accessing a couple different ones, but I mean, how many are you really going to use in a set if you're writing the stuff? You probably got 3 or 4 sounds you go to.
It's the same thinking of like if you release a Kemper pack with 6 profiles, that's different than a 65 collection with 160 profiles. Those are going to be different costs. So if I wouldn't spend $100 for a BC15 pack with 5 profiles and $100 for a Purple Plexi pack with 60 profiles or 100 profiles.
Right.
That's different amount of work, different amount of setting up, like all the things Jimmy Eat World would have to do to deliver me an entire set, an hour and a half of playing, versus what he had to do to deliver me one preset.
The difference though is that
it's price.
The difference though is that Tone Junkie. So if you're looking at Tone Junkie or whoever, you're looking at Michael Britt or whatever. If Michael Britt's average cost per profile remains the same or relatively the same, right? Some packs are cheaper, but they have fewer things. Some packs are more expensive. as long as he's internally consistent, then you're not going to feel like you're getting ripped off.
Right.
It's all of a sudden, if one was the same price but way less stuff, you'd be like, hey,
What's so special about that
what's
one?
so special about this one?
Yeah.
This guy, he only has the one preset for sale.
I think it's just the one, yeah.
So
it's
the next
just-
one might be 300.
So it's like, you
I
know,
know, but that's the
I
thing. There
fully
isn't a next one. There
I-
isn't a next one. This
Right.
is what he's using. Like this is
Right.
the whole rig.
Yeah, but until
so
he
it's not
decides
one
to use
sound. It's not one profile. It's not the equivalent of one profile or something. Or
Right.
like
It's like
or
one
like one
pedal
amp
board.
sound.
It's like one rig, right?
Yeah, it's his rig. I mean,
It's
it's
his whole
his rig.
rig.
He's got some pedals in there that he captured. He's
Couple
got some amps.
IRs.
He's got his stuff.
So if his rig was one capture of one amp and one King of Tone, that was two things in his preset. Is that $100?
That's you're reducing it to the absurd, right? Which is
Right.
like of
But
course
it proves the point of saying like if it's not his rig,
it doesn't
that I
prove the
want,
point because
you
it's
know?
not. I get what you're saying, but that's not what is actually being given because he doesn't play that, right? If there wouldn't be someone doing what he's doing with so little in his sound, and that's the point. It's like the preset.
You get what I'm saying?
No, but the
They haven't
preset
seen the
doesn't.
John. They haven't seen the John 2-pack yet.
His rig though.
Yeah, how much is that going to be?
His rig doesn't do one thing. That's what I'm saying. Of course, if the rig did one thing, like if Willie Nelson released the acoustic guitar sound, it would be one pack, right? And that would be kind of silly, but it is a whole guitar rig. It encompasses.
But would Willie Nelson's profile get you high while you were playing it?
That would be.
That's worth money.
I would pay $100.
It encompasses many sounds. What I'm saying, and the thing is, the proof is in the pudding. You can pull up an Elevation record and listen to it. And so then you could package that as, hey, look, there's 16 songs. I can give you 16 downloads. He
Yeah.
plays just that rig.
Yeah.
So like if the value is I need to get the 16, I need to get this sound, or I need to get these songs. Well, if everything comes from that rig, which I think is more or less true if you're on an analog rig, like there's not as much variation. Now, you may be getting, I mean, one thing that may just be the thing is like where I play and probably where you guys have been playing, the tempo comes via MIDI. You may not get that, right? No? Okay. So
That's pretty advanced, bro.
is that
Oh, yeah.
you can run, well, the other tracks have that, right? You can send it in I think Ableton does that. There's just a little MIDI cable that sits next to the power and the XLRs they give me.
That's fancy.
Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. I don't like to use it actually because I like tapping halftime if I want it. Do you know what I mean? Especially on like an ambient patch.
Yeah.
If I want a really big, I know that if I know that I can go halftime and everything gets longer.
Yeah.
You can't do that the other way, you know. I mean, I guess you can.
Can I? All right. So I argued both sides.
Yeah.
My actual opinion is that I think it's totally within his right to do, but I don't think it would be worth it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much he's selling. I mean, he might sell a lot or a little. I don't who knows?
I think also, and I think you touched on it earlier, he knows the market that's going to buy this thing. And it's small, but it's mostly guys with more money than average.
Yeah. Do you think, though, in this world, like this is the world where if you just make a pedal but change the color to black, people somehow want it more? Like, do you think in this world having the $100 price tag provides the sort of,
Yeah.
you know,
That's what I'm saying.
you download it, it sounds good, and then that's the confirmation bias. If that fuels people to go on and say,
Right.
yes, I want, like, it's great. Like,
People were saying it's premium or it sounds
it
premium.
feels
I
premium,
assure
yeah.
you, it's probably not any more premium than the stuff they can
well,
get for
yeah,
cheaper.
and it's
you know?
like,
Right.
it's like, yeah, I hope it feels premium. It
For that
should
price,
after
it
you
better,
after
yeah.
you did that, yeah.
Yeah.
Or else,
I don't think he'd be able to do this twice or 3 times or 4 times. I think he would. I think he would run
Yeah.
out of.
It's a shtick the first time people talk about it.
He would run out of oomph at some point because people would be like, "Man, I bought the last 2." They're
And
not-
I wonder how the word of mouth is for all the people that did buy it and were disappointed by it.
Right.
Right. Like, I should never have spent $100. So it's just a
Yeah, or
curiosity.
even not
you
just
know?
disappointed, even just like apathetic toward it. Like, yeah, it was fine. I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah, this other one's $15 and
It gets you 90% of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah.
I agree that I'm not saying he shouldn't have done that. I just think it's ridiculous. And I would never pay it. But it's not, that doesn't mean he's wrong. You know?
Yeah. I wonder,
I feel like we have a bit of a bias though, because look, we don't pay for presets.
Sure.
We make a lot of them.
We make a lot of
Sure.
them.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it's like, you know, it's a little bit of bias where it's like, no, that doesn't seem like it's worth it.
But I think it also, like, we're behind the curtain a little bit too of like what goes into making presets, how they're created,
Maybe that's
the
true.
work that it takes. And I'm sitting here going like, look, I've made a bunch of presets.
Yeah.
And to say this one preset with his signature sound or what he used on some record,
Right.
if to get access to that one sound is $100,
Right.
you know, that's where it's because I guess there's a mystery. If you don't know what goes into it or what's behind there, I want to check it out.
Right.
That you will pay it to. I don't think. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think someone would do it 3 more times. You know.
No.
But we might find out.
Yeah.
All I know is that $100 compared to like a Veritas guitar is a drop in the bucket. So
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
You gotta get the rest of
that's what I
bucks
meant. Like
is,
he knows
very
his
little.
audience. Like it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
that many people, and a lot of these guys are playing $5,000,
They're used to
$6,000
overpaying for
guitars.
gear. Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and maybe you know, there's a thought of like, if I sell, you know, if I sell 100 of them, it's 10 grand,
For sure.
right? And then it's like, okay, this is great. Like
Yeah.
that's what I think I'll do. But maybe he sells 1,000.
Hey, more power to you.
Now we can get a Maserati.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a lot of work filling these QC things. It's just a lot of headache. You know, they've made it really difficult to do. So I understand charging I mean, really, that's why I've like made all the QC packs kind of on the more expensive side, just so you buy the bundle, just so I only have to sit down and send you the whole bundle. Because I rather have more to sit there and click through to send than to have many more orders of different names, and it just you know, so. And then, you know, sometimes people get it on a flash sale or something. I don't think E's going to do any flash sales.
I hope he does.
5% off.
I hope he does.
But I'm going to say,
I hope he
think,
does like 100 people, or first 10 people get 100% off sales.
yeah, I'm going to say, I think in the worship world right now, there's Hislop, which has become Tone Factor, right? And, you know, in my opinion, that dilutes actually a little bit of the specialness of like, this is what David uses. Now there's so much stuff available. It's hard to know what are you using. And I think anyway, he's a guy who tries a lot of different stuff. So, you know, constantly experimenting. But there's very few opportunities. Headdroff did a little thing. There's very few opportunities in the worship world right now to like go to the source and get the sound. You know what I mean? I know Lincoln Brewster's working on some stuff. And
always forget
Remember him?
I always forget about Lincoln
Yeah.
Brewster.
and he's got
He's got a signature Strat.
He really does.
I mean, he does, and he's got a lot of amps, and he's got a lot of stuff. And I had heard he was working on stuff a long time ago, and then I heard recently he might be working on some stuff. I'm sure he has a lot of stuff made. It's just a matter of, you know, it's just a matter of like, how do you package stuff and get a website to get, you know, everyone's had modelers forever, and you make stuff, you know, especially him. He makes stuff to go on tour and stuff. He's probably been on a million tours with different guitars and different events and all sorts of stuff. He's probably made a million things now. It's just, you know, what do you want to make available? You know, do you want to make it available and then do what Hislop did, which is turn it into a whole catalog of stuff that, you know, goes past what you're using? Or do you want to do what E's doing and go, here's the one thing I use, and so I'm going to put a big premium on it?
Hey, not
know?
everyone's trying to profile the world, man.
No. Some people are just...
This is the opposite approach. I profiled one thing but charged the same amount as 10 things.
I think there's 6 captures in his defense in there. There's 6 captures. in
6 amp captures or 6?
I think there's amps and pedals, and I think the total
Wow.
is 6.
If it was $50, I would have the same opinion. Dang, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You
For
know,
6.
double the money.
I was just going to order a quarter pounder and tried to add an extra patty because I didn't want to eat the bread. So it was going to be 3 patties. And I tried to just get it here, and I thought, I have a Coke Zero in the fridge. And with the delivery fees, it was $24.
One burger,
One.
no sides.
So 50 doesn't seem that crazy for a download when I think about it like that. 'cause
I'm
I go-
sorry.
No.
A triple patty burger from McDonald's.
So it would have been 3. It would have been
but
3.
24 seems crazy. You got to get that price down, you know?
Well,
You
no,
wouldn't
but
pay
I'm
that
saying
if you were there.
24 seems crazy for one burger. It seems like just a burger with no sides, no drink should be cheaper than like a premium thing you buy, or like something you're going to buy and use a lot of.
Oh my god!
But
You know what I mean?
don't buy a $24 burger.
I didn't. That's why I'm
There we
sitting
go.
here hungry.
There we go.
That's why I started.
There we go.
That's why I started this podcast
Yeah.
by
I know,
saying I'm
earlier-
very hungry.
yeah,
You guys
early-
want to have EVs.
Earlier, you're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go get something to eat," and then you came back down and you said I didn't eat anything. So
Right.
now I know what
Well,
happened.
all we
That's
had
my
was
takeaway.
this
Don't buy a $24 burger. Don't buy a $100 preset.
this is all we had was salami.
It's become clear.
All we had was salami in the fridge, and I'm getting sick of just eating salami because there's I don't know.
I remember that no carb lifestyle.
It's a thing.
When you're on salami for like 6 days in a
Yeah.
row, it gets a little
You need options.
tiresome.
You need just like ground beef patties, cheese, like the inside, like a quarter pounder, 3/4 pound patties with cheese. Just sounds like all I want in the world right now. It's all I want in the world.
It
You
can
know?
be yours for the right price.
Well, I could drive over there too,
Yeah.
For
but
a
I
lot-
didn't want to.
For far less than
I didn't-
$24.
yeah, and I
What do
probably
you-
will.
What do you suppose it would be at the establishment?
Oh, it'll be $11.
Oh my god.
That's what it always comes to if I get 3 patties.
That's insane.
If you get 2, it's 7.
It's still high, but man, 24.
Yeah.
I know $11 for a single item at McDonald's.
Well,
no
it better be
fries.
good.
The thing is, though, like if you go, it's way cheaper than like Muyaz. If I were to do that same thing at Muyaz, it'd be way more. But it's because I'm getting 3. I'm getting 3. I mean, it's 3/4 of a pound of beef. Like
Why
it's there.
Can't you just get 2 double quarter pounders as they come?
It'll be more.
More?
Yeah, it's cheaper to add. It's cheaper to get one burger and then add the extra stuff
Guys,
inside
have
it.
you noticed that things are really expensive lately?
Oakland can't afford copper wire, John. He can't even afford to fix their lights.
I have, by the way. The food has gone bonkers.
Yeah, it's gone crazy. It's gone crazy. Okay, given the rate of inflation, when will $100 per download be reasonable?
2037.
That's a lot. I think it's sooner than
I
that.
think it's sooner than that.
He's living in the future.
At this trajectory, it's like 3 weeks from now.
If it comes with like,
This year.
yeah,
Oh man.
if it comes with like a carton of eggs, it'll be.
Oh wow.
That should be a sale we run. Buy
Dude.
the everything back and get a carton of eggs.
We'll deliver you analog eggs.
Dude, even egg whites are just crazy. Like that
Analog
carton of egg
eggs.
whites is just like, it's tough. It's like
you're
$12.
you're getting
for-
egg whites?
Sure.
Why not the whole egg?
Because I want more protein than calories. It's like I want to add protein, but not add calories. So, you can
That'll do it.
either add egg whites to eggs. Like you can throw in 2 eggs instead of making 4 eggs. You can get the equivalent,
Right.
and then you kind of you smear the yolk around. It's the same. It feels the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you make scrambled eggs with 4 eggs, 4 egg whites,
Yeah.
and 2 egg yolks.
I don't usually do that. I usually just make a bunch of eggs. I'll hardly ever do that. But what I do is I pour it in a bowl, grab a little cheddar cheese, throw in some ham or some bacon in there. If I make some bacon, put it in the fridge. Then I throw it in a bowl. You can microwave those egg whites, and it comes out, looking like the egg in an egg McMuffin. You know, that's like a microwaved egg. You know, it just like cooks in that thing. So you end up with a thing. I end up eating that a lot. All right, you guys have been hard at work, trying to outdo the Logic drummer, or outdo each other, maybe.
Yeah, it's real drummer versus loop drummer.
Real drummer versus loop drummer.
Yeah.
But kind of real drummer.
Well,
Yeah.
so you had written this like little demo piece.
Yeah,
For
we're
the-
starting to do more full tracks for demos, which was fun. So we're writing songs and riffs and putting them in Logic, and then you heard it and we're like, I want to play on that. So that's how this whole thing got started.
Right. So then you sent me just the guitars.
Yeah, you referenced that like YouTube thing where like the drummer has never heard the Metallica song or something,
Right.
and then plays along, and it's
Yeah.
like, what would he have written to that song?
Right.
Not aware of the original. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like a genre of video now. I saw one recently. It was a gal who plays keyboards.
Yeah.
She had never heard Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the News.
Wow.
And they played her just the vocals and the drums, and she wrote a whole part to it.
So the chords are probably different too.
Very.
Yeah. Oh my
But it's
gosh.
awesome. It's just so cool. It's like, but what she did totally works, but it's not at all the same as Power of Love.
Reharmonization, they call
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
just taking the same core of a song and
Right.
totally flipping it around. Yeah.
So you sent me just the guitars.
Yeah.
And then I recorded bass and drums
With a electronic drum set.
with my
Using what sounds?
just the stock Logic drum kit designer.
Okay.
It was like a modern Birch kit or
So
something.
does
Sure,
what
my
you play
favorite.
just like come in as MIDI then underneath
Yeah,
that?
it's just
and
MIDI.
It plays back the drum
Right.
set.
So I have
Okay.
like an Alesis drum set.
Okay.
And
I knew an Alesis in college.
what?
Well,
But it's just essentially a MIDI controller.
okay, and you just
Yeah.
tell it where to go on
She
the
was kind of cute, but she talked a
kick,
lot.
snare, and there it is.
Alesis. Anyway.
Full circle. I don't want to just do the rhythm with the bass. The drums. You just flopped it. The hit tunes.
I do that again. When it comes in.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
I was trying to figure out how to a way to like make the intro the intro.
Now the song is going.
Yeah. I think my bass sounds bigger.
So the first part of the song is sort of more rockin'
Yeah.
and riff heavy, you know, and so.
It's a great riff, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
We were laughing though because we're not bass players.
Yeah.
No,
Or
who is?
drummers.
No one is.
All right.
No one is.
We play bass like a guitar player would.
Well, and we were
play
saying
bass.
like, do you play the riff? Do you not play the riff? Both
Yeah.
of us played the riff, but differently.
I did it sparingly, kind of thing, and
Right.
yours kind of. Well, we were saying your bass sounded more like aggressive and bigger, which is kind of puts it more as like a guitar, doubling a guitar. I feel like.
Oh, okay.
Whereas, yeah, I was out a lot of the times because I actually didn't know what to play, so I was just like play the low note and then like let the guitar take over. You know.
Yeah.
I like your fills a lot more on the first half of the song. There's like
drums?
hits, yeah, and like the way that you came in, I thought was pretty good.
I think that's the one thing that's really impossible to do with the Logic drummers. Because, like, if you're just writing something, like you want to get something in real quick, the Logic drummers are really great. They do fills at the end of the section. Like, if you
Yeah.
cut up the sections, they do fills and stuff. But it's really hard to get them to do something very specific.
Yeah,
And, like the hit where it's like, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Like, getting the Logic drummer to do that would never.
you have to go into MIDI and cut it all up.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I'll
Yeah.
do sometimes, but it's like,
Right.
you know,
It's so
is
hard.
this worth the effort?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun doing it. I won't tell you guys how many hours I played that one song, but before I got something.
Was it more than 2 takes?
Yeah. Was it more than 20 takes?
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
I
man.
played through that 2.5 minute song
Yeah.
probably 50 times.
Wow.
Right.
I mean, I'm not a drummer.
Sure.
I'm not a good drummer. I'm like a passable
I would.
drummer.
I don't know. It's pretty good, man.
works. All right.
Would you? It was interesting hearing like how you treated the clean part. like a breakdown. First of all, this is the best like demo. Hats off to Suze. I'm not wearing one today. You guys are. But this demo, because I thought it would have been more difficult to show the ambient sound and then the clean sound, starting with that riff. You know what I mean? So, but it was interesting when we get to the clean sound. Suze kind of it was like, it feels like a more progressive instrumental piece. Where now with this clean song, there's like a different kind of melody going on.
Right.
It's different. You like treated it like a breakdown. You had everything come out, and it was like, like you sort of had this big crash
treated it like
ending.
this is like a whole different section now.
Yeah.
Introduce it, guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. That was fun to see the same piece, because the guitar was all you got.
Right.
And it was set in stone. It was you just got the guitar.
Yeah, I couldn't change anything.
Right.
Right. And actually it was fun because I didn't even like watch you play that riff. All I did was hear it.
Oh, right.
And
yeah.
so
yeah, you gotta learn it first. Yeah.
I had to learn it first.
Right.
So when I was learning it, I was like, oh, wait, the second half of this thing is in a different key. It's in A. It switches to A.
Yeah.
Flip it right here.
You did a 6 right there.
Oh, I did? I was out that whole time. I came in right here. They're just out.
Is this starting E?
And then I was out. Because you went right to the right here.
Yeah.
This is like a breakdown.
Right.
Yeah. Before the bridge. And then coming for the solo.
Yeah. Getting it? Oh, yeah. I like it. It's cool.
The Philippines, nice. Not totally out, Totally
was fun.
And also too, like when the guitar's just up here playing high stuff, like melody only, like what's happening down here is totally up to you. So like you did a progression, you changed chords and moved around while I stayed on the one the whole time.
Right.
So like that's
It's just funny. It's funny how different people hear different things.
Yeah, you're like I should
Like
move
to me,
here.
that was what was happening. Like
Yeah.
that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's a chord progression under this.
Yeah,
Here's
totally.
what that chord progression
Yeah,
would
yeah.
be.
I mean, it would be interesting hearing just the guitar, like what you would perceive, because I've only heard it with the drums and bass Suze put on, and then I heard yours. Like I heard him doing it, and then I saw the video, and then I saw that, and you don't even make those decisions listening to it. You don't even think could it be anything different.
We should do a follow up with giving him just guitar.
It'll
He's
just
got
be-
to program drums.
It'll just be me going.
Okay, now we really have to do it.
Yeah.
boom, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were saying we
Boom,
should
boom,
give it to Matt, our friend who plays bass,
an actual bass player,
and Jared, who actually plays
Right.
drums, and see what they come up with.
You should give it to them separate, but don't let them know. Like, and then just put their parts on top of each other. So I recorded a couple
that'd
times.
be
Like,
fun.
we've overdubbed live stuff. Like, we've recorded something live, and then we've told everyone, all right, you can just go overdub your parts again. You know, like,
Yeah.
fix your tone, fix your mistakes, and then
People come back
comes
with
back.
stuff-
People hear different stuff, and then
Right.
you go back and listen. And so I remember I had this one track. I was sitting there going, oh man, I wish the drums would have played this part with me. Like, that's what I wanted. And then another part where I'm like, if I knew they were going to do that, I would have done something else, right?
Right.
it's
kinda-
always best to go last when you're building a track,
For sure.
because you get the whole picture now.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
how do I add or not,
sure.
to this or
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, you don't want to get the scratch vocal, the acoustic,
Yeah.
and the Logic drummer, right?
Yeah, just play these heavy guitars over this.
You have no
It's like-
idea what it's going to sound like.
I think, in fact, when I was like, "Hey, send me just those guitars," you're like, "Do you
Yeah.
want a version with the drums too?" And I was like, "Nope,
No,
don't want that."
that would be really interesting, though. What you're saying about send it to the drummer, he can't hear the bass.
Yeah.
Send it to the bass, he can't hear the drums.
Yeah.
and then lay them on top and see if it actually works.
it probably
It-
would.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be in time. You know,
Yeah.
it would
Yeah.
be.
and it would probably it wouldn't be as strong as them playing together.
But there could be
you know?
spots where the drums drop out because, like how John's arrangement was. Like, imagine the drummer's like, "Oh, this will be like a breakdown part." It would just be the guitar, and the bass is like, "Brr, brr, brr,
Yeah,
brr."
yeah.
He like puts the fuzz on. Brr, brr.
Yeah, looking at the drummer like, yeah, we're jamming. The drummer's on a smoke break.
Right.
Where did he go?
I would like to toot my own horn a little bit though, and say that
Oh,
was the
of course.
first. That was one of the first times I haven't quantized the MIDI afterward. I was pretty proud that it turned out
Sounds
okay.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also it helps at like 89 BPM.
It's not like 140.
Most of the stuff I write tends to be like 120
Fast,
or
yeah.
faster.
Have you been
can-
doing a lot of metal demos lately, or what?
I mean, a little bit.
A little bit.
It's cool.
A little bit.
Metal's fun.
It is. Who knew? I did.
I actually learned a metal riff the other day
I've-
too. I played it on this.
Did you?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
Oh,
Pretty cool.
Firebirds are known for their metal.
I know. I was like, can I
history.
play this on metal? That kind of works, right?
Yeah.
Maybe an Explorer's more metal.
I mean, the strings are a bit floppy, tuned down a step and a half.
Oh
but
yeah. So you use bigger strings then, like not 10s or 11s.
I just use I forget what they're called. They're Ernie balls, like I don't know, Mega Slinkies or something like that. Mm-hmm. But they're 10.5 to like 56. I think.
So are they heavier on the bottom? Those ones?
Yeah, they're like
those
a little bit heavier
Forget
on
what
the
they call
bottom.
them. They make
Yeah.
it thick. They make the bottom strings a little thicker, but the top strings stay
Right.
like kind of normal. But
Is it
10 and a
meant
half
for
is
that?
already more.
10 and a half is because the 11s are like just a little bit too much for me.
Even when you drop C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like them a little bit floppy too.
I remember I did that. I got one of those packs where it was like 9s on top, but 10s on the bottom. And I thought that would be the thing. It wasn't. It was.
When I was in my touring band, we tuned down to drop B. So like drop
Even
C is
lower.
a step down, and then drop D style. That's like another half step. And I played 12s.
And they probably don't feel huge when they're that
No, when you're tuned down,
Yeah.
2.5 step. I mean, it's 2.5 steps.
You
You know,
can bend them.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so anyway,
Well, it was fun. Thanks for playing on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Sounded
there's
cool.
lots more.
Yeah.
I think there will
I bet
be.
there will be.
Yeah.
More
Stuff to play on.
more stuff to play.
I actually really, really love playing drums.
Yeah, do you?
It is fun.
I really do. It's more fun. Well, not more fun than guitar.
Okay,
It's just
rank
like
them. Guitar, bass, drums. What's the last? What's last?
I mean,
Who likes playing bass?
bass is the last. Well, yeah.
Bass
likes-
is fun, but it gets boring.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bass players.
Bass
But-
is like I think bass is like steak. It's not that hard to learn to cook a good steak.
Sure.
But people pay a lot of money for the best steaks in the world, cooked the best in the world. Like, it's some of the most premium stuff in every city. If you look at the most premium restaurant, 1, 2, or 3 is definitely a steak place.
For sure.
I think you'd be hard pressed to find a major city in America where the top 1, 2, or 3 restaurants aren't aren't really serving some high quality steaks by someone who really, you know what I mean?
Right, right.
Like it'd be tough. You know, you're gonna have like
It's
this
never a
place and this.
sandwich shop.
Yeah.
They're
No,
never the
maybe
top.
one, you know, but not 2 and 3. You know, like maybe like one of you know.
Right.
They're definitely steaks, but you could just
I
go
will
to.
say-
You can go and you cook something well. It's not that hard to cook something
Yeah.
well.
Bass, drums, and guitar, though, I will say, are like the 3 legs of the stool. If you don't have one of them, like the whole,
don't
it
play.
just doesn't
Don't
work.
play.
It doesn't work.
Don't play. One week we didn't have a bass player, and they were like, "We can put bass in the tracks." And I was like, "For the love of God, could we just play acoustic guitar and piano? Could we just scrap everything you're thinking?
Totally.
Could we just
Right. Start
completely
over.
change
It's
it?
way better.
Yeah.
Piano only.
Just bring a harp and we'll do
Anything.
that.
Anything.
Acapella.
Yeah.
Don't
Acapella.
don't put the bass in the
Right.
tracks.
Cancel church.
Only thing worse than that.
Put a sign on the door.
Tell everyone, sorry, go home.
Lots of churches in the area. Go to one of those.
Right.
Yeah.
Lots. The only thing worse than bass in the track is, of course,
Vocals in the track?
drums in the track. Well, vocals maybe if you had no vocals.
No
I mean,
singer?
it would be crazy.
Drums.
Okay, I would say drums in the track's worse. If you have a live band and only the vocals were in the track, that would be like diabolical.
Like no singer.
Like leave the church over it. That's crazy. That's insane.
It would be better to just play a CD,
play a CD.
and have that be the worship music.
Because no one's like, oh, I'm so into it
I've
because I
been to
can
that
see that guy playing bass in the dark. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, that's
That reminds me of like when we used to go to church when I was a kid. We would
Yeah.
like play along. We would just play a tape.
Yeah.
And we'd like sing along. To
sure.
it.
And then someone does hand motions.
Yeah.
I think that's why there are hand motions.
When
for
I was
kids.
in like 3rd grade,
Yeah,
fourth grade, I remember
transparency
that.
machine. It's like,
We sometimes have
For the words,
for our kids like some of the singers who are like some of
overhead projector.
That's the-
those things.
with the hand that would go up and move, slide it down and go quick.
Did Aaron ever tell you his story of the volunteer at his church that was missing a finger,
No.
but still ran the projector, and so he would go like that? I was
my
like,
gosh.
"Pause! Is that a real story?" He's like, 100%. He had been some accident, and it changed. He lost a finger, but he was a faithful volunteer,
Oh, I love that.
and all the kids were like, "Ah!"
Bless him.
Yeah.
That's
That
so
is weird.
great.
Did you ever do the thing where the songs were kind of long, or there was like a slow song? So then, like, you'd see the full page, and then like they'd move it halfway up, and the other one halfway
Sure.
up.
Yeah.
So you had the
Oh,
little
smart.
seam in the middle.
Yeah, smart.
And then all the way.
All these kids that only know PowerPoint now,
No,
they don't know
yeah.
what they're missing.
They think that's archaic.
Yeah, they're
You
like
know, it's
PowerPoint.
Whoa, PowerPoint 4, huh?
The overhead projector. I remember when my church first started doing PowerPoint instead of the overhead projector, and all the backgrounds had like the little watermark on it because they didn't buy the backgrounds.
Oh, sure.
Right. No one will notice.
Remember like the clip art phase? It was like
yeah,
all the
yeah.
janky graphics and people, and they would just like put graphics everywhere.
Yes,
'cause it's
yes.
like,
The sermon was like totally unnecessary graphics, just because you could.
Because you could. It's
Right.
engaging.
right.
It's relevant.
Keeps your attention.
I went to a church in California for a long time where like it was literally just white background, black text with bullet points. Like that was the sermon.
yeah, I could see it.
And it was like, this is what it is.
Well, there was like I remember there was like a sort of a reaction I felt like in churches. I remember there was when I was like junior high-ish, it felt like the thing to do was, it was after that, let's have a million graphics on a million things. The thing to do then became, let's go super minimal.
Right.
Black background, white text. Let's like no lights on the band. Right. It was like
Yeah.
all this thing. All of a sudden, like, what was that song? I'm Coming Back to the Heart of Worship was that one. That whole thing, right? It was like someone experienced
Simplicity.
something in their church in the UK, and now everyone had to have the same sentiment of like, wait,
Oh, yeah.
we must.
Oh my gosh. There was
you
like
know.
a 2-year period where you couldn't play that song without telling the story
Yes.
first.
Oh, everyone with the piano
Wow.
playing.
I thought that was just us.
No.
I was all of our churches.
Everyone.
Wow.
There's some interviews of Matt Redman talking about that song, and there's an air of kind of wish you all hadn't like grabbed this because you really didn't get it. Like
yeah.
I think it wasn't lost on him that
Right.
you're not really understand.
Yeah.
You took yeah.
You didn't need to take my thing and
Yes,
make it your
you
thing.
didn't need to do that. It was
You
very
coulda had-
special to us,
Yeah.
not to you.
You ruined it.
No,
Yeah.
if you put it right after God of Wonders, it really loses its like little thing, right?
When the music
yes,
fades.
it was right. It was like right after.
Goodness gracious.
It's so great.
How did we get there from our track? I have
don't
no
know,
idea. That
but
was
it makes
good.
sense.
That's an epic transition.
It really does make sense.
Well, yeah, let's write more tracks.
We're going to do more. We'll get HW on there.
yeah.
We'll get other Jared and Matt and all those people.
Get real musicians.
Yeah. All right. I think that's a wrap. This is
That's how
going to
you
be
know it's over.
this is going to be Guitar Friends
Yeah, 32. Right?
32.
episode 32. We're
Dang, you can no longer listen to the whole thing in a month.
if you did one a day.
If you did one
Even
a day.
in the longest month.
Yep.
Wow.
If you did, wow.
Look at that.
32. We're past.
We're gonna be at 50 in no time.
You could do it if you said
What's the percentage of podcasts that make it?
it's lower than the amount of Tonex latency you get by running a 0.6
Wow.
millipodcast.
full
What is the
circle.
exchange rate of milliseconds to percentages?
It's one. It's one shroot buck to one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
What? Let's just field topics for next week. What should we talk about next week? Now that everyone knows we're back.
We could experiment with, if you're still even listening or are around.
There's some people here.
Put it in the comments. What do y'all want us to talk
you could
about?
do that. Put it
like
in the
requests.
comments. Yeah.
We're pretty good at seeing
Yeah, we
comments
read 'em.
and reading,
read 'em.
responding.
Yeah.
trying to-
Sometimes I get really excited and I go, "Oh my god, 13 comments!"
Right.
And then I go in there and I realize 7 of them are Sue's answering the 4 questions we got.
I go on there and I answer.
Sometimes I'm like, lots
really
of
does.
comments, and then
Yeah.
it's like there's a million comments.
He really does.
I try
Yeah.
to get back to people, but
Yeah,
you know.
that's good. That's good.
I read all the comments.
Yeah, I read every comment.
I don't think I've ever responded to any. To anybody.
I read every comment that's left in the first, I would say, 1 to 2 days on a video. And then it's just a matter of if I get a notification. And then I'm getting so many notifications, and they're kind of random because I don't get notifications for every comment because there's all sorts of old videos. I don't know how YouTube like works it out.
Yeah.
Because I just get these weird comments, and it doesn't always show me on my phone like what the video is. And it'll just be the most random sentences, and I'll be like, "What is this about?" And then I'll look back, and it's a completely random video where it's like, it'll be like, "I don't know. As a Canadian, the geese are pretty loud." And I'm like, "What?" And then I'll be like, "Oh, episode 2. We must have said something about ducks or something." You know? Wow. It's just pretty crazy stuff. So we could do that. Yeah, leave it in the comments what you want to hear. And
Maybe next time we should talk. We should say that toward the beginning of the episode too.
I don't want comments from the looky-loos who just wander in
There
and
you
stay
go.
for the
We
beginning.
We want the
that.
true fans.
Right.
Okay, last thing. We'll talk. Maybe we could talk about this next week. We are getting the feedback from people that they're showing the podcast to their friends, girlfriends, wives, exposing other people to podcasts, and they're most interested before we talk about guitar. So, is that like a
That's
reason
not
to
surprising.
No, it's not. Is that a reason to memorialize that like the first 30 minutes cannot be about guitars?
No, I think.
Of the Guitar Friends podcast.
I mean, it seems crazy, but it does seem. The one guy even put, "I listen until you talk about guitars." I thought, well, here's a guy returning. He's returning just for the early stuff. He's gone already. He'll never hear this.
The funny thing is, he should actually stick around because even if we do talk
Right, it
about
goes
guitars,
off the rails.
we don't continue.
Never
and
more
then
than
it comes
12
back.
minutes. Yeah.
No,
No,
it's
it's
never
back.
more.
We don't continue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We are guitar friends. Like we are friends and we all play
But we
guitar.
like other stuff.
But we talk about mostly stuff that's not guitar,
just like in real life.
just like in real life.
yeah. Real
We don't
life.
sit down and talk about tone
Real life friends.
hardly ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, we are actually friends in real life. Guitar is just one aspect.
It is really funny that the guitar content is the worst part of the
it's the
Guitar
worst part of
Friends.
the yeah. Maybe that should be a thing. Like we shouldn't have started a podcast about this topic because people are like, I wish
Yeah.
you wouldn't talk about.
But
that
I think
topic.
that's what
Yeah.
makes it heartwarming. I think that's what makes it
Right.
Right,
makes
we
it
are who
good.
What
we
else
are.
would we do? Sit here and talk about
Right.
burgers or Hattie B's?
See, but that's the thing.
Or
Is
the
like
best pizza.
if we started a
Like a food
Burger
friends.
Friends podcast, and then
No
we
one
started
would
talking
no one
about
would care.
the stoplights in Oakland, people would be like, "What the heck
Why
are
are
you
you
guys talking
talking
about?
about
Get
I
back to
listen
the
until you
burgers."
talk about burgers, and then I check out.
So we should make a pot. It should be about our least favorite subject, like
Taxes, friends.
taxes, right? I listen until you talk about like the NHL hockey. You know,
Right.
I don't know. I don't have any. Yeah,
Hockey friends.
hockey friends.
Hey, Oh well. Cool.
All right, Guitar Friends episode 30.
Use code HockeyFriends to get. Well,
I'm not
can't-
setting that
Hey,
up.
I can't make promises.
Set that up. I don't want to set that up. You, man, I'm hungry. Next podcast. How long are these usually? They're about an hour.
We
and a
always
half.
guess how long
hour,
we're
hour and a
going.
half. Yeah, we didn't get. I was
I always
afraid
say
you
an
guys
hour
could
and
just see
15.
it.
We can't.
Well, guess if you can't see, I can.
I always say an hour and 15.
Now it's 1:30.
Yeah, it's like
an hour
1:30.
30.
And I'm always short.
We had a little time in the beginning though where I started. No, I
did
started
stop,
those.
too.
Those are longer. Anyway,
Next podcast.
when we get about 30 minutes into the next podcast, we will be 1/3 of the way to 100. No, that's false. We need a whole nother episode and then a third.
33.33 repeating.
Yeah, fake news. HW. All right.
We'll make the next episode like 5 minutes, so we can just get straight to 33.
We
mean,
should
34.
we should just chop this one up into 68 episodes.
We should do.
Get right to 100.
Oh,
Yeah.
we could celebrate.
When maybe we got to do a live. We got to do a live podcast at some point.
That would be so like a live studio audience.
We should
No,
do it
just
from
like-
NAMM.
Like streaming live.
Oh, like YouTube Live.
Yeah.
I see.
We should do it
Interesting.
live from NAMM sometime. I just need someone to give us a booth.
We should do like a podcast-a-thon where it's like
Could we test that? Like, say, hey, we're gonna go live and just see how many like people you think would hop on.
Nate, I have no clue.
100?
Maybe 10,000. Nobody knows.
Oh gosh. I watch, the
Probably
whiskey channels that I watch. They do lives all the time. That's
Yeah.
like a main thing, and I'm always shocked at like how many people.
Okay,
There'll be like 900 people watching.
Right.
Someone just reviewing Buffalo Trace.
what if we go live while we're recording a podcast?
I think that's
like-
what you're saying, right?
But
Doing
you-
a
You're
live.
saying
but I
start
mean,
a podcast
You can
like
even just do
normal.
Instagram Live or YouTube Live while we're there, and then just talk to the chat.
That's what I mean.
But not actually broadcast it.
Oh, I
Like,
see what you're
like
saying.
we
Oh,
could
it's
just
only
have a
live.
segment where we just pull up the live and we just ask a question, and maybe people and we interact with the chat for a little bit, and then we like can it, and then
Right.
people saw part of it on live.
Like using the live as a guest.
Yeah.
Like, what do you guys want to
Yeah,
say?
Right.
And then we can hold this phone up
Oh, no.
to the live.
Oh, no. I think he was saying all that just so he could grab that phone.
We hold it up. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you were going to do the entire podcast this time. Oh, no.
Pop, pop, click, click, pop, click.
We've ended this podcast.
It's not too
3
late,
times.
John. It's not too late to do the whole rest of the podcast with this phone. We could,
We could also go live right now.
We could.
So much hypotheticals. Oh,
we
boy.
could go live. What I'm thinking is we go on Instagram Live,
Mm-hmm.
and then boom, they're like interacting. You know, it's like an interactive thing. I still think the best thing we need to do is set up a camera and a microphone and get a 360 camera and put it right here and say, you're on Guitar Friends. Special guest you. And then people have the microphone, just like your perspective. It's just a microphone right here. And the microphone's right in their face, and they can like look around. They can take their phone and look around. And we just need a 360
But if
camera.
they look straight on, they see a microphone like I do.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
And then we'll be like, all right, put in the comments, like, you know, what's your favorite Les Paul pickup? Please talk into the microphone. Don't forget, pull the microphone closer to your face. You know what I mean?
That's a pretty well thought out idea.
It would work
I like
really
it.
well.
I like it.
Yeah. Also, I told Stu to come back on.
Oh,
So
that'd be
I think we
fun.
should get him here as a 4.
He hasn't
You
been
know?
here in this scenario,
No.
only in the desk one. You did the interview with him.
Didn't he sit with us one time, you and me?
I don't believe so.
Yeah.
Addison did.
Addison,
Jared.
Jared.
The desk one was something.
Oh, yeah, Jared. I was sick that time.
Oh, you were right
I
here.
was on the laptop.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I really liked the desk setup. It felt very like,
Yeah, talk show.
yeah.
I think I was one. Stu was one. I think that might have went away after that.
I did it.
You were there.
Yeah.
Did you? Yeah.
You mean the one that was here, not that. There was also the one in now my office.
Oh, I went to I was on the one with.
well, he had this one. There was like a tree, and like he was sipping coffee, and it looked just like Letterman or something. It was right there.
Maybe I should do that again. That was good.
We should do it.
So many ideas at the end of this podcast. We got to remember these.
Yeah.
It's a real brainstorming sesh.
All right, so if you're still here,
Thanks for being a part of it.
If you're still here in the comments, distill everything we just talked about down back to us and give us the best.
Feed
of
us
it.
amazing ideas.
Yes. Please. Yeah. All right. Guitar Friends episode 32. Episode 32. No, this is 33.
No, it's 32.
I think I mislabeled the last one I just posted.
Still rolling.
Yeah,
I think the
power-
the power adapters were the worst thing we could have done.
I did it. I got it right.
The power adapters gave us time
Infinite-
we never needed.
Infinite time.
We never needed it. All right. I've been HW. Guitar Friends episode 32. I've been
That's right.
HW.
I've been Seuss.
I'm John too.
Suze, you want to play us out?
You're still on the phone. Love that, actually.
If you'd like to make a call, please hang up and dial again.